You didn't expect it. Not like this. Not this loud. But heaven did. Heaven planned it. This moment. This love. This confession. Angels gathered as it unfolded. Because it wasn't just words. It was prophecy fulfilled. It was prayers answered. It was divine timing. The one your soul has longed for. Spoke it out loud. In front of others. No shame. No fear. They didn't hide it. They couldn't. Because love like this, heaven-ordained love, refuses silence. It breaks through. It speaks. It declares. Proverbs 18:22 says, "He who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord." This moment was favor speaking, heaven smiling. They didn't just say, "I love you." They said, "You're the one I've been searching for." They said, "I see you. I choose you. I'm not hiding it." And the room went still, because everyone felt it. It wasn't just a confession. It was a shift. In spirit, in atmosphere, in you. You felt something break. A wall inside you crumbled. The doubt, the fear, the wondering if this kind of love still exists. Gone. Because they spoke it, publicly, unashamed. And heaven echoed it back. The angels say, "This love is loud on purpose. It was never meant to be a secret. It's meant to show the glory of God." Matthew 5:14 says, "You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden." This love is that light. You've cried quiet tears in the dark. You've begged God, "Please, let someone see me." And now they do, fully, clearly, publicly. They spoke your name like a vow, like a covering, like a promise made flesh. The angels rejoiced, because this isn't just romance. This is redemption. They saw your scars, and still, they chose you. They saw your past, and still, they said, "I love you now." They looked into your broken and called it beautiful. Isaiah 61:7 says, "Instead of your shame, you shall have double honor." This moment is your double. This confession is your restoration. You don't have to chase love anymore. You don't have to wonder if you're enough. They said it. They meant it. And the heavens confirmed it. You were not forgotten. You were being prepared. So were they. While you were healing, they were searching. While you were growing, they were watching. And now, here it is. A public declaration of destiny. Don't downplay it. Don't talk yourself out of it. Don't shrink to make others comfortable. Love just stood up and called your name. Loud, clear, holy. Romans 10:11 says, "No one who believes in him will be put to shame." This is your no more shame moment. This is your confirmation. Even the people around you felt it. They went quiet. They looked at you different. Because love makes the unseen seen, the ignored honored. And now, your name is spoken in love, not behind closed doors, but in the open, where truth belongs. The angels say, "This changes everything," because you're no longer waiting in silence. You're stepping into promise, into partnership, into purpose. They didn't hesitate. They didn't whisper. They stood tall and said, "I love you. I want the world to know." And the heavens shook. The angels sang, because God's timing is perfect. Ecclesiastes 3:11 says, "He has made everything beautiful in its time." This is that time. This is that beauty. You are that chosen one. Let it sink in. This is not ordinary. This is not fabricated. This is prophetic. This is real. Your heart is safe here. This love doesn't hide. It builds. It speaks. It shows up. It stays. So walk boldly now. Don't look back. Love just confessed what heaven already knew. And the world heard it. They spoke your name. And something eternal unlocked. You felt it. In your chest. In your bones. It was like God whispered, "This is it." You waited for years. Through heartbreak. Through silence. Through disappointment. And now, this moment, They didn't hesitate. They didn't fumble their words. They stood in their truth. And in doing that, they stood in yours. This was not a rehearsed confession. It wasn't poetic perfection. But it was real. It was pure. It was theirs. And that made it holy. Psalm 85:10 says, "Love and faithfulness meet together. Righteousness and peace kiss each other." That's what just happened. Love met faithfulness. Peace met purpose. You thought you'd imagined this moment. You thought maybe God forgot. But look, listen. He didn't. You were never forgotten. You were being positioned, hidden in plain sight, for the right one to see you, really see you. And they did. They spoke it where others could hear. Because they weren't afraid to love you out loud. They weren't afraid to claim what God had revealed. Their love wasn't quiet. It was courageous. You don't need to second guess anymore. You don't need to question your worth. The confession was your clarity. And guess what? They meant it. This wasn't impulsive. It was intentional. It was sealed in prayer, anchored in God. 1 Corinthians 2:9 says, "No eye has seen, no ear has heard, no mind has imagined what God has prepared for those who love Him." You couldn't have imagined this moment, but God did. You were always on heaven's schedule, not a second too soon, not a second too late. Their words echoed like prophecy. You'll replay them in your mind, not out of disbelief, but out of awe, because finally, you feel chosen. You are not an afterthought. You are not plan B. You are not a backup. You are the one they prayed for, the one they waited for. And now, they're not hiding it. Angels rejoice when love aligns with purpose. And that's what just happened. You felt the ripple in your soul, in your surroundings, even in your timeline. Everything is shifting now, not because of the words alone, but because of the boldness behind them. The angels say, "This is love that declares, love that claims, love that protects, love that shines." You're no longer waiting to be seen. You've been revealed. You're no longer hoping to be heard. You've been spoken over. God is not just restoring you. He's honoring you. That public confession? It was heaven's seal. They said it out loud, in a way that felt eternal, not scripted, not soft, but certain. You've been waiting your whole life for someone to stand tall and choose you, not in silence, not in secret, but in the open. And now, they did. They didn't just say, "I love you." They said, "You are mine. I want the world to know. I'm not afraid to show it." Luke 12:8 says, "I tell you, whoever publicly acknowledges me before others, the Son of Man will also acknowledge before the angels of God." This was more than love. This was divine recognition. And heaven responded. You didn't even realize how badly your soul needed to hear it, until you did. And now, everything feels different. The ache is quieter. The air feels lighter. The waiting is over. They spoke, and the chains that held your heart loosened. The silence you carried for years was broken in one moment, because someone chose to speak life over your name, and they did it when others were listening. That's courage. That's alignment. That's love, anointed by heaven. You've known love that hides, love that hesitates, love that fears. But this love steps forward. This love announces itself. This love is rooted in God. They weren't performing, they were declaring. They weren't trying to impress, they were revealing. Because the kind of love God sends you doesn't need a stage. But when the moment comes, it won't run from it. They saw you, and they couldn't stay silent. 1 John 4:18 says, "There is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear." Their confession chased the fear away. From them, from you, from your future. This was love grown in prayer, watered in waiting, blooming in public. Don't miss what's happening. Don't downplay it. They saw what God sees in you. They spoke it. And now, you're stepping into a season of visibility, of recognition, of reward. The angels say, This moment unlocked the next one. Because when love is declared, heaven accelerates. This was the turning point. The spiritual yes. The divine agreement. More is shifting. More is aligning. More is coming. You looked at them, and it finally made sense. Why you had to wait. Why others left. Why it never worked before. Because this is what you were waiting for. Not just love, but love that speaks. Love that stands. Love that says, "This is my person." And everyone knew it. They felt it in the air. The shift. The confirmation. People who once doubted your worth saw it reflected in their eyes. People who once overlooked you watched someone else celebrate you. You weren't just loved. You were honored. You weren't just chosen. You were claimed. Zephaniah 3:17 says, "The Lord your God is with you, the mighty warrior who saves. He will take great delight in you. He will rejoice over you with singing." That's what just happened. A soul rejoiced over you. Out loud. You never needed validation from the crowd. But still, God gave you this moment to show you you are worth loving out loud. You are worth being named in love. They didn't flinch. They didn't wait for a better time. They didn't hide their heart behind someday. They spoke, and the spiritual realm moved. Angels leaned in, because love like this makes heaven celebrate. This wasn't just emotional. It was spiritual. Their confession broke cycles. It healed places in you you didn't know were bleeding. It rewrote the story others tried to write about you. The whispers of unworthiness, gone. The lies that said you were too much, silenced. The shame that said you were too broken, dismantled. All by one truth. You are loved. Boldly. This moment wasn't rehearsed. It was divine. It didn't need perfect words. It had perfect timing. Psalm 31:15 says, "My times are in your hands." This confession was on time. And now you're walking into a new season. A season where love doesn't hide, where truth is spoken, where purpose is partnered. They said it, and something sacred unlocked inside you. Not just because it was loud, but because it was real. They weren't pressured. They weren't prompted. They just couldn't keep quiet anymore. And when they looked at you, you saw it in their eyes. They meant every word. The angels say, this confession was the beginning of healing, not just for your heart, but for your timeline. Everything that's been delayed, it starts to move now. Every prayer you've whispered in silence, every tear you cried alone, it's been answered publicly. Isaiah 60:1 says, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." This is your rising moment. Your light is no longer hidden. Their words pulled you into visibility. This is not just about romance. This is about destiny. This is about being seen, the way God sees you. They spoke, and things shifted. In the spirit, in your relationships, in your calling. Because when God sends love, it comes with evidence. This love walks in the open. It declares. It protects. It reveals. You will no longer be someone's secret. You will no longer be someone's maybe. You are now someone's clear yes. And not just in private, but in public. Where the enemy once tried to shame you, God now sets a table for you. Psalm 23:5 says, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies." This moment, it's the table. That confession, it's the meal. You're being fed with joy, with clarity, with honor. They didn't just confess their love. They announced alignment. Their spirit recognized yours and could no longer stay silent. You are not invisible anymore. You are not hoping someone sees your worth, because now someone has seen it fully and they spoke it out loud. Let that sink in. Let it settle deep. This is what God's love feels like through human words. No more hiding, no more guessing, no more wondering if you're too much. You are exactly right. For someone who is ready, the angels say, They've seen your heart. They've watched your loyalty. They've seen your patience. And this moment, this confession, is the reward. They declared love and unlocked promise. The moment changed everything. But that moment was never random. It was written. It was ordained. You may not have seen it coming, but the heavens did. They had already marked this day, already assigned this hour, because love like this, love that confesses, moves things in the spirit realm. It breaks generational patterns. It silences inner critics. It heals unseen wounds. You didn't just receive a declaration. You received release. Release from fear. Release from delay. Release from wondering if you're too much or not enough. You were neither. You were always the right one, just not the rushed one. You were the appointed one. Habakkuk 2-3 says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, though it tarries, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry." This love tarried, but it came, just like the word promised. Now everything starts to accelerate, because you're no longer in hiding, and neither is your blessing. This was not a small moment. It was a spiritual turning point. The moment your waiting met your witness. They spoke in front of others, because your love was never meant to live in shadows. It's meant to inspire, to show others what divine timing looks like, what restoration sounds like, what real partnership feels like. This wasn't about grand gestures. It was about divine timing and holy confidence. They could have stayed quiet. They could have waited for privacy. But instead, they opened their heart in the light. Because when God writes a love story, He doesn't need it hidden. He wants it seen. Seen by those who said, "You'd never find real love." Seen by those who tried to dim your light. Seen by you, so you'd finally believe what heaven's been saying all along. You are lovable. You are worthy. You are chosen. They confessed their love, and heaven answered with movement. Something deep inside you unlocked. A part of your heart you thought was numb started to feel again, because the right words, from the right person, at the right moment, can revive what you thought was lost. You didn't even know how much you needed this, but God did. He saw the days you questioned your worth, the nights you cried over what never came, the quiet prayers that ended with, "God, do you see me?" And now this, a love that doesn't whisper, a love that declares. They spoke your name, and the atmosphere changed. What once felt far suddenly felt close. What once was delayed was now delivered. You've known disappointment. You've known letdowns. You've known almost love. But this is fulfilled love. Love that speaks life. Proverbs 16:24 says, "Gracious words are a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones." Their words healed something ancient in you. Something old and tired came back to life. You're not the same. Not after this. The angels say, this wasn't just a moment. It was a divine announcement. A holy interruption. The confession didn't just bless you. It activated you. Now your faith is stirred. Now your vision is clearer. Now your heart is open in a way it's never been before. Because when someone loves you with boldness, you stop shrinking, you stop doubting, you start becoming. You rise into the version of yourself that always believed love could be this good. Their public love broke private battles, battles with insecurity, with fear, with loneliness, all dismantled by one act of courage, one decision to love without fear.